Hey guys, my name is Rob, and this is the Video Game Beat, the weekly video game podcast that covers all your weekly gaming news right here in one place. If you're watching visually, well, then don't forget to hit the thumbs up button and subscribe to the channel. And if you're listening, well, hey, on whatever podcast service that you are listening on, just rate us so that way the podcast can go up and up and up on the search bar so that way people can find us quicker, because we all know the Video Game Beat is all you need in regard to gaming stuff, okay? But without further ado, guys, let's jump right into the big news. Today we have seven stories on the list. So starting off, first story of the day is Among Us 2 has been canceled. This is coming straight from GameSpot from Jordan Ramey. Developer Innersloth has decided to cancel Among Us 2 and instead focus on expanding the content offered in Among Us. Now, if you don't know what Among Us even is, look, Among Us is only maybe like one of the biggest games right now on Twitch. It came out like 2 years ago, and all of a sudden it just had this massive resurgence. And we got the likes of big people like I was gonna say Shroud. Why Shroud? We got the big people of like Ninja, Tim the Tatman, Dr. Lupo. You got so many people playing this game, and it just came back up into the scene out of nowhere. And as a matter of fact, the developers thought they were all done with the first one, that they were actually making a sequel to it. But because of the fact that Among Us just grew so big, they decided, let's just divert all of our attention from the sequel back to the original one, because this is where it's all happening, and let's just build it up right here. Okay, so this is what they had to say on GameSpot. All the content we had planned, and this actually, as a matter of fact, this is from the developer on a blog post. Okay, all the content we had planned for Among Us 2 will instead go into Among Us 1. Innersloth writes, this is probably the more difficult choice because it means going deep into the core code of the game and reworking several parts of it. We have lots of things planned, and we're excited to bring new content to everyone as you continue to enjoy playing. Now, a couple of these expansions include things like new servers, colorblind support, a friends / account system, and a new stage. And a lot of these things are planned, and the big thing with it is this, okay? Innersloth, I think they're making the best choice here. The fact that you're going from such a massive game that is literally blowing up. Your game, you made this game 2 years ago, and it never got the attention that it deserved. And yet here we are, it's blowing up. And instead of pulling all your fans from one game to another game, I think they're making the smart decision of just like, hey, right now, let's just perfect this game. Let's add a couple bit more maps. Let's add a couple bit more servers and support for friends and accessibility things, and let's just build the game that we're on right now. And honestly, that is the smartest decision they can make, because doing that and making a second game, though it's probably like we can make more money by making just a second one, it is a bit harder to get a full like group of people from one game to another game. It's almost kind of like going the route of Fortnite, I guess. That's kind of like they're wanting to do like season 2, I guess. Everything that was going to be in Among Us 2 is coming back to Among Us 1. So as we can see, that kind of way of making games, it works. It works for a lot of developers, and I would like to see what Innersloth has in the future in regards to this game. But yeah, Among Us 2, one of the biggest games. And I mean, if we're going to be honest, I've never played it. I've watched so much of it on Twitch. I necessarily have a PC, and I know you can play it on your phone, but come on, is that the place I'm going to play Among Us on my phone? Not really. And so, yeah, I've been seeing a lot of, it seems like it's a lot of fun. I mean, it's like the new Fortnite. It's the thing that all the kids are playing. You go on YouTube and YouTube gaming, and that's everything, dude. Along with Fortnite and Fall Guys and all that kind of stuff. So, big kudos to Innersloth, big kudos to Among Us, and great choice for them to actually go ahead and just move all the assets from Among Us 2 to Among Us 1. But yeah, if you are watching the video, let me know in the comments down below. What do you think about Among Us 1? And the whole change of 2 being canceled and moving everything to Among Us 1. Story 2, Xbox Series X previews. This is coming straight from The Verge. Tom Warren And a couple things. I'm not really going to be reading anything in particular from the story. One thing I am going to be talking about that I kind of took a snippet from is in regards to their quick resume. Again, this is a bit casual, boys. We're not there yet, but one day we're going to get to the point where these developers, these big third parties will recognize us and be like, hey, Rob, let's get you that Xbox Series X2, but not anytime soon. So some of the big things I've been seeing is the load times, okay? And I actually grabbed an image that was on The Verge, and it kind of breaks down some of the load times that is on the Xbox Series X. Again, and we'll talk about this later, but there's so much around this new generation of video game consoles that there's so much to be talked about. But I will have to say from the very beginning, Xbox is doing such a great job. They're killing it, dude. They're killing it. Their messaging is great. They're being very forward, and everything that they're offering, they're just making themselves look good, man. And PlayStation, oh, guys. Again, we can talk about that later. But right now, load times. So, at The Verge, they broke down and they kind of played a couple games, okay? They played Warzone, Red Dead Redemption 2, The Outer Worlds, Evil Within 2, Sea of Thieves, Warframe, Assassin's Creed Odyssey, No Man's Sky, and Destiny 2. Now, they compared the load times from the Series X to the Xbox One X, which is the most recent Xbox console to date. Here's what we got. And some of these numbers are crazy. And some of these numbers are like, dang, that game takes a lot, doesn't it? And you realize that. Starting from the top, they put Call of Duty Warzone at the very top. On the Xbox One X, it hit 21 seconds of load time. Honestly, not that bad, okay? On the Xbox Series X, 16 seconds. 16 seconds. That's crazy. I know that you might be thinking, dude, that's just an extra couple seconds. Yeah, but seconds matter when it comes to this thing. And you're going to see once we get down. Red Dead Redemption 2 on the Xbox One X. And God almighty, that game takes forever to load, dude. I can be on my phone and I'm already halfway through an episode of Dragon Ball Z. Xbox One X, 1 minute and 35 seconds. On the Xbox Series X, 52 seconds. We're seeing the power slowly, dude. The Outer Worlds. On Xbox One X, 27 seconds. On the Xbox Series X, 6 seconds, dude. 6 seconds to load that game. That's unbelievable. That's like barely even enough time to even get this thing going. Like, you can't even pick up your phone and look at Twitter. It's just too fast. Evil Within 2, 43 seconds on Xbox One X, 33 on the Series X. Sea of Thieves, 1 minute, 21 seconds on Xbox One X. Get this. 20 seconds on the Series X. A whole minute cut off of loading times on Sea of Thieves. That's like a big, big deal. Warframe, 1 minute 31 seconds. Series X, 25 seconds. I don't think you guys are seeing, like, are you seeing what I'm seeing? This is big. Assassin's Creed Odyssey, 1 minute 7 seconds. Series X, 30 seconds. No Man's Sky, 2 minutes 13 seconds. Series X, 1 minute 27 seconds. And 1X on Destiny 2, 1 minute 52 seconds. Practically 2 minutes. Xbox Series X, 43 seconds. Guys, I don't know if you're following me here, okay? I don't know if you're following me here. But the next gen is here. Next gen is here, boys. And I never thought that with the next gen, the big deal was going to be graphics. I never thought that was going to be the big push. Graphics and things are going to look more real and lifelike and blah, 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 blah. Like, have you not played The Last of Us 2? Have you not played God of War or any of those games? We're already kind of there. But I think when it comes to next generation, and it's the big push that everyone's talking about, it's the SSDs, it is the ray tracing, it is the load times, it's all these conveniences that are at the tips of our fingers, getting ready to be in our hands within the next month of the recording. And this is very exciting to me, honestly. You might be thinking, dude, that's just load times, bro. It's just load times. I know it's just load times, but in gaming, it can be an inconvenience. And sometimes when you're playing a game, you just want to be just engrossed into it. And sometimes I can admit this. I can be playing a game, I die, and then the loading takes forever, and I'm just on my phone now on Twitter, and I just got taken out of the game. I think what next gen's gonna fix is hopefully taking that away, and load times will be so fast that you can't even pick your phone up to look at Twitter or Facebook or Instagram or MySpace. You know, anyone out there using MySpace? Hit me up. Another thing was the quick resume. Now, quick resume, and this is straight from The Verge, quick resume utilizes the SSD inside the Xbox Series X to let you swap between multiple games freely. It takes around 5 seconds to resume games where you left off, and I was able to switch between 5 games easily. That is the words of Tom Warren, not mine. I wish I was in his shoes one day. Now, you remember when you're on your phone, okay, and you have 5 apps opened up. Now, I'm just speaking in regards to like the iPhone. When you slide up and you can literally see all the different apps that are opening, you can just go to the next one. That's practically what they're talking about here in regards to quick resume. You can literally go from Halo to Gears of War within a matter of 5 seconds. Right now, and I'll just make this clear. As of right now, my main console and the only console that I really have, other than my Nintendo Switch, but we're talking about the big boys right now, I have the PS4 Pro. Going from that game of, like, let's just say Red Dead Redemption 2, jump out of that and my brothers want to play Call of Duty. That takes forever, man. That is a long, long time. Especially like let's say I'm playing a little bit of Spiderman just to, you know, get a couple bit more trophies so I can get the platinum, jump out of that game and let me resume, let's say The Last of Us 2. That takes forever. This is going to fix that. And obviously we're talking in terms of the Xbox. We know nothing about PlayStation. Just in regards to Xbox. This fixes that. And honestly, this is the coolest thing ever, dude. It makes things so much easier. The big thing about next gen is convenience. And it's the fact that you can be playing a not first person. You can play a story-based game. And then you get hit up by your friends like, hey, let's jump onto Destiny. Okay, cool. Boop, boop. You're right into Destiny 2. Right there. Now, they did say in the article that they had a little bit of troubles with Sea of Thieves, but the only problem with that is the fact that it is a online living world game. So it's not like it can just render everything like that. It is a constantly changing game. So they did see a little bit of differences in that quick resume does not work on Sea of Thieves. So we can see if it'll also not be working on other forms of games, but until then, we'll see once we get there. Just keep an eye out, guys. Next gen, it's going to be crazy. And I'm honestly very, very excited. I got my Series X. I got my PS5, bro. They're coming in hopefully in November. Because if they don't, I'm just going to pull out the PS1 and we're just going to be talking about PS1 games till I get one, baby. Story number 3, guys. We're on Pokemon Sword and Shield Crown Tundra DLC. This comes straight from IGN, Joe Scrabbles. The Crown Tundra DLC will be released on October 22nd. Now, the new snowy open area added new characters, Pokemon, and quests, and a couple of bit new mythical Pokemon. And we get to see our good old boys, the legendary birds, back. You know, we're talking about Articuno. We're talking about Zapdos. We're talking about Moltres, baby. When it comes to Sword and Shield, I didn't play it. Not really. I just didn't play it. I played Let's Go. I got Let's Go Eevee. Let's go, boys. Eevee, my boys. And I just kind of fell out of it. I think the thing right now with Pokemon is that it just feels too samey right now. And I'm a big Pokemon fan. I'm 25 years old. But man, Pokemon is one of the coolest things ever. I can be walking in Target and God knows I want to buy those Pokemon cards. God knows that I'm still trying to plan how to get myself a Cyndaquil tattoo. On my desk area right here, I got all 3 evolutions of Cyndaquil. Cyndaquil, Typhlosion, and freaking Quilava right there. Not in that order. Obviously, I'm a fan. I know what I'm talking about. Don't get mad at me, okay? But when it comes to Sword and Shield, I fell out of it. But it's kind of cool with Sword and Shield. There is this new ability that they are... Not a new ability, but this new effort that they're putting in of DLC. And honestly, that's a change that we have not seen done before. I could be wrong, and you can correct me, but we've never seen this done before. And so this is the second DLC, the Crown Tundra. It's a snowy open area, and in Sword and Shield, we are seeing these bigger open areas. I forgot what they call them, but these bigger open areas it's not the entire game. It's just these only confined open areas that you can go. You can see Pokemon walking around, then you can leave that area and then they're not going to be there. Like you could just go onto good old-fashioned Pokemon game. We're slowly getting to the point where they're making it a bit more open. I'm really wanting a Breath of the Wild Pokemon game, but I think the fact that they're adding DLC is one step closer to them maybe making these games a bit more bigger. It obviously shows that they want to invest more into the game, but I'm hoping it just doesn't stop here. We'll see what the next one is. But I will say, we've seen a couple bit new Pokemon coming here and there, and the original legendary birds, I like them. They're not necessarily my generation. My generation is Generation 2, but I've always liked those guys. And with these new legendary Pokemon that came out, I gotta say, dude, Zapdos is the freaking coolest looking one out of all of them. Like, he looks better than his original form. Like, the glow up is real on this guy. The other two, though, I don't know about you, but it looks like some fake leaked Pokemon art made by a 13-year-old not paying attention to his history teacher. It just is, they're really weird and out there, and I do not know how I feel about those. But Zapdos, he looks dope as heck. And honestly, I'm not even kidding. I literally want to buy this game just so I can try to get Zapdos, because he just looks legit. And obviously, we all know what we're going to be talking about today, baby. We're talking about Tundra, the DLC. And we got one new Pokemon that was introduced that honestly is a little something else, okay? Right here, I got pulled right here. Guys, I don't know what they were thinking with this one, okay? I don't know what they were thinking, but when it comes to our boy Slowbro, the bro, he's one of the boys, you know, chilling. The Galarian version of Slowbro, I don't know what's going on there, dude. It looks like a Shelter bit his head. He evolved that way. Like, the story always was that a Shelter bit his tail, and then he evolved into that to what's after Slowbro? Slow King? I don't even know, dude. I get confused now. But it used to be where he had either can get the crown or he can get the big tail. Now the thing just it's eating his head, and his eyes are on the Shelter itself, on his head. This guy, I don't know. You can say whatever you want to say, but honestly, I like this design a lot. It looks pretty rad. And the fact that his hand is like just pointing forward, like he's commanding people, because obviously he's psychic ability. It is really weird and out there, and it's a really weird design, but I kind of like it. At the beginning, when I first saw this, I was just laughing the entire time. But as time went on, I really enjoy this. It actually is a pretty cool look, and I can't wait to see what they can do with this kind of creativity with all the other ones moving forward. I don't want them to be all super crazy. I think the way that Zapdos looks, which looks like more like a Velociraptor, is a cool upgrade. And I want these kind of upgrades with someone like Slowking every once in a while, but not all the time. But yeah, I really enjoy the way the Slowking looks. I enjoy Zapdos. Let me know what you guys think about that Crown Tundra in the comments down below. Okay, guys, we're on the fourth story. This is a big one, okay? I've been thinking about this one a lot because obviously this is a weekly video game podcast, so some of these stories come out days before I record this. And so I've had some time to think about this, and it's a big one. And it's something that's been talked about a lot in the video game industry, and I don't know if I want to go into too much depth here. I just kind of want to give the actual news. I'll give you a little bit of my opinion, obviously, but I kind of feel like this calls for a video game therapy, which obviously is my video show that I just take deep dives into like a particular topic. But let's jump into it, okay? Story number 4. It is Cyberpunk 2077. Publisher orders 6-day weeks. This comes straight from Bloomberg. Jason Schreier used to be part of Kotaku. And let me just read this to you, okay? It's a good amount of information, but just follow me on this, okay? Jason writes, Polish video game developer CD Projekt Red told employees on Monday that 6-day work weeks will be mandatory leading up to the November release of the highly anticipated Cyberpunk 2077, reneging on an earlier promise to not force overtime on the project. But an account from a CD Projekt Red employee recently, as well as an email to staff earlier this week, indicate that the company hasn't lived up to its word. The employee, who asked not to be named discussing private information, said some staff had already been putting in nights and weekends for more than a year. In the email, CD Projekt Red studio head Adam Badowski wrote that he was optimistic about the state of Cyberpunk 2077, which stars Keanu Reeves, and that they had just sent the game to be certified for release on Sony Core, PlayStation, and Microsoft Core's Xbox. Now, he wrote it was time to fix the game's many lingering bugs and glitches. And this is what the email reads, okay? Starting today, the entire development studio is in overdrive. Your typical amount of work is 1 day of the weekend. The extra work would be paid as required. This is not Badowski, this is Jason Schreier, okay? The extra work would be paid as required by Polish labor laws. Many other video game studios don't pay for overtime. Now, I want to make this a point, okay? Again, CD Projekt Red is a Polish video game studio. Polish labor laws obviously require that if you're going to be making them work overtime, you got to pay them extra for their work. Great stuff. Unfortunately, other studios in other places don't do that because those kinds of mandatories are not in place, okay? Now, something that he went on to say is this: I take it upon myself to receive the full backlash for this decision. This is Badowski, okay? I know this is in direct opposition to what we've said about crunch. It's also in direct opposition to what I personally grew to believe a while back, that crunch should never be the answer. But we've extended all other possible means of navigating the situation. So, the thing with this is, at first sight, okay, we're getting word from a CD Projekt Red employee saying that crunch is becoming a thing that's mandatory. They're almost, the release of the game is in a month, guys. In a month. This game was already pushed from its, March release date? So, they already sent the games in to be certified and released on PlayStation and Xbox. So they have a month. They get asked, you're going to be on crunch, on overdrive, until the game's released, which is in a month, okay? And based off of this employee, supposedly some other employees have already been working overtime for a year or some nights. Again, I want to make this clear, because of Polish labor laws, they are getting paid overtime. Now I'm going to continue, okay? On Twitter, on Wednesday, Adam Badowski tweeted this, okay? These last 6 weeks are our final sprint on a project we've all spent much of our lives on. Something we care for deeply. The majority of the team understands that push, especially in light of the fact that we've just sent the game to cert, and every day brings us visibly closer to shipping a game we want to be proud of. This is one of the hardest decisions I've had to make, but everyone is well compensated for every extra hour they put in. And like in recent years, 10% of the annual profit our company generates in 2020 will be split directly among the team. Guys, I want to make sure that we come back to that piece, okay? That last piece. Now, real quick, I'm just going to give just the bare bones. Crunch, obviously, just the idea of crunch is bad. Crunch does not only exist in video games, it exists in the restaurant industry. It exists in your warehouses like Amazon, and your employees at like Walmart and Target, and whenever Black Friday happens and big seasons and all these kinds of things. Crunch happens. It's a thing that happens. And is it bad? Yes. On the surface, it is bad. But some crunch can be okay. Some crunch, though the idea of it is kind of bad, you're taking away time from yourself mentally. You don't have time to rest or spend time with family. I get that. But some crunch is good. Sometimes you want to come together as a team and work together, and let's get this all done together as a team, guys. Okay? Let's get this together as a team. Now, there's been so much being said about crunch, especially by Jason Schreier, because he's been on the top of this forever. Even when he was back on Kotaku, he's been on top of all this crunch stuff. But something I want to make a point of is that a lot of the crunch that is being said is, it's hard for me. This is an interesting topic, and I don't want to. It's not the fact that I don't want to step on toes, but I think some people have the right to talk about it and other people don't have the right to talk about it. I think journalists should not be the ones who are literally talking about this as if they know what's going on, because they don't. It should be the developers. It should be the people making the games. Leave it to those people to actually talk about crunch, because we should actually know what's going on, because they're the ones in the middle of it. Some people are okay with it. Some people are not okay with that. Is it most of them? I don't know. Is it a minority of them? I don't know. I just know based off of what I hear from other reporters or other people that are in the know, that are friends of other people that are are in the industry that say they're okay with that kind of stuff. Now, I want to go back real quick, and I'm going to leave this up to you so you can decide what you think about it. At the end of his tweet, Anabadowski said, and like in recent years, 10% of the annual profit our company generates in 2020 will be split directly among the team. Okay, 10% of annual profit split to the team. That's a bonus, okay? Look at this. On the actual news story, Jason wrote this at the bottom. This could prove to be a lucrative sum, as analysts estimate that Warsaw-based companies' net income will rise 11-fold to 2 billion zloty. Okay, now that's Polish currency. That equals $520 million in 2020. CD Projekt Red had 1,079 employees at the end of June. Now, I want to think about this, okay? 10% of that $520 million in 2020 that they earned in income will go to the employees. The 1,079 employees that they had. I'm pulling up a tweet by my boy, Colin Moriarty, okay? Colin Moriarty, he is the founder of Colin's Last Stand. He is the CCO of Lily Mo Games. He put this tweet out a couple days ago. And this is what it read. And this actually put it all into perspective to me because I didn't have the time to do all of the math in my head. Again, like guys, I play video games. I'm not much of a math whiz. But here's what he has to say, okay? Look at this. CD Projekt Red is forecast to net $500 million in profit for its fiscal year. It gives 10% of profits to its employees as bonuses. They employ roughly 1,000 people. In that situation, the average bonus is $50,000 a person. Median per capita income in Poland is $5,000 a year. $50,000 a person in that year. That is a hefty bonus. That is a hefty bonus. And I've never seen a bonus like that in my entire life. I gotta say, guys, like I said, for some crunch is good, some crunch is bad. I personally, I wouldn't mind working an extra Saturday for a month, 6 months, even a year, if I had to make a $50,000 bonus. That's just me. You guys let me know what do you think in the comments down below. We're going on to the fifth story, guys. Fifth, numero cinco, baby. Marvel Spider-Man Remastered details. Like I said before, we barely know anything about the PS5. It's such a mystery. And so, while we're right here, on Marvel Spider-Man Remastered, we got a couple bits of crumbs, as you can say. So, on the PlayStation blog, James Steven, community director of Insomniac Games, he talked about a couple things, okay? And I didn't grab anything in particular, but some of the things that they talked about was the graphical updates. That's talking about ray tracing at 60 frames per second. They even showed off some video of the gameplay of the game. And when you see some of these images that are literally side-by-side comparisons of what it looks like updated, remastered, technically, compared to the PS4 Pro version, it is like night and day. I honestly, when I saw the first image, which is Spidey right there webbing in between two cars, and his reflections are just everywhere, I literally thought that was just like an art piece that they were just promoting. I didn't know that was the game. That was the game. The left is the PS5 version. The right is the PS4 Pro version. Do you see the difference in that? There's so much difference. Especially the fact when you go to the lower image, on the bottom left, that Spidey hanging off of the window, there's his reflection on the window, guys. On the right image, that's the PS4 Pro version. Not the same kind of style, not the same kind of fidelity, not the same kind of anything. It's a big difference. And this actually, just these images in and of itself, and seeing that video of him swinging in 60 frames per second, has me hyped for this. I'm so hyped for this next gen. But again, it actually makes me want to go back and play the original game, because I want to see everything that it has in store and the glory of ray tracing and up-res and all that kind of stuff. But along with that story, we got another story, okay? They didn't necessarily even talk about this. You would just have to scroll down a little bit in the PlayStation blog story so you can find this, okay? They changed something to our boy Spidey. They changed something to our boy Peter, okay? I don't know why they did him like this. We don't necessarily even exactly have the exact reason why, but they changed Spidey's face. On the right is the updated look, and on the left is the old look. And just like how I said, the graphics and everything are going to make me want to go back and play the game. This new face is going to make me want to go back and play the entire game all over again. Just because of the fact that this is a different person. It's not just the fact that his voice isn't changing. This is the same voice actor. But I got so attached to Peter Parker on the left. The game's phenomenal, by the way. It's a great game. But I got so attached to that character, his look and everything like that, that if I were to go jump into Miles Morales, I'm pretty sure Spider-Man's going to come up in Miles Morales. And the updated face, that's going to be in Miles Morales. No doubt. I can bet you $1,000 on that. I don't have $1,000. I hope I win. But it's updated. So obviously in continuity, they had to update his face in the entire game as well. So I want to go back and get used to the new face. I want to see how it reacts and interacts with other characters, Mary Jane and Aunt May and all that kind of stuff. So it's different. And there was kind of not a backlash, but you know, some people don't like change. And there's a lot of that going on regarding the video game industry and those who love Spider-Man. So the director addressed this on Twitter. Brian Intihar, he wrote on Twitter, he said, "Today's news about the new Peter Parker face model has surprised some of you, and we at Insomniac totally understand your reaction. Heck, it even took me a while to get used to Peter's new look. But as we discussed the franchise's future and moving to the PS5, it quickly became apparent that delivering even more believable looking characters made finding a better facial match for actor Yuri Lowenthal, which is the voice actor, we all love as Peter, a necessity." He knocked it out of the park, dude. He's Spider-Man. His voice is already iconic. "We care as much about this character as your attachment to him, so please know we didn't make this decision change lightly. As we did throughout the development of Marvel Spider-Man, we'll continue to read your comments, listen, and always be looking for ways to improve every facet of the game. At the same time, I hope you can trust us that this decision is what we feel is the best for the future of the franchise and our upcoming goals for this beloved Marvel character." I honestly believe him when he says it probably was a very, not hard decision, but a tricky decision to make. They know that their fans fell in love with this one Peter, and to change it is a big deal. I'm pretty sure they did it for a reason. Already, though, when you look at the images side by side, one is already so much more high def and actually looks so much more realistic than the other does. So I don't know if that's what happened. I don't know if there's like, guys, we need to make him look a little younger, because my big opinion about it is the fact that he looks extremely young now. He looks much younger than the previous Peter, and he looks almost the same age as Miles, and he's supposed to kind of be like the mentor to Miles. But again, we'll see. I trust them. They deliver such an amazing game. I trust them on this, and I can't wait to see what he will look like and what everything works when it comes to the release of Spider-Man Miles Morales and the remastering of Spider-Man on PS5. And for our last story, guys, we got Steve Rocks the Block. We got our boy Steve from Minecraft jumping into Super Smash Bros. This comes straight from Kotaku by Ethan Gach. Steve, along with Alex, Zombie, and Enderman, have joined the roster. Steve and Co. will be able to use pickaxes, throw down blocks, and even have a crafting ability. Sakurai added that every stage currently in the game had to be reworked in order to support these characters' new moves. We all know that Sakurai loves Smash, and he takes it very, very seriously. That man needs to rest. He really needs to rest. And it's kind of an interesting thing to see that Steve is coming. I think it was a big deal that Banjo-Kazooie was on there, because it was kind of like, oh, this Xbox character, which Xbox bought Rare, so now they own Banjo-Kazooie, and Banjo-Kazooie got into Smash Bros. So that was kind of like a big deal. But it's even a bigger deal that Steve is on there, because that's even a more solidified Xbox character on a Nintendo game. And it's cool. I'm really excited at the fact that he's on there. I mean, on this new set of players that, or fighters that are coming on the roster, Min Min being the first one, Steve, Alex, Zombie, and Enderman being on the second one, it's cool to see where they're going with this. And I want to see what the rest are going to be. I hope they can really surprise us. But with Steve in and of itself, when you watch the video, you can see him. He's actually putting down blocks, and he's and building a house. And it's interesting. I don't even know how he's going to work. I really have no idea how that's going to work on the game, and I'm pretty sure, just based off of what he said, they had to rework everything. I'm pretty sure he had a hard time trying to figure out how that works within the stages of Smash Bros. But I trust him. I mean, he delivers every single time. So I'm excited to jump in and play as Steve and feel him out and see how he plays amongst all the other ones. Because we all know my boy, the Piranha Plant, no one could beat me. No one. Now, the only thing weird about this is the fact that they did not even give a release date. But we do have Minecon, I think that's what it's called, the Minecraft convention coming up. And I think that's when they'll give more details regarding the release date to Steve and the rest of the crew. But yeah, that's it. That's the end of the podcast, guys. If there's a story I didn't cover this week, or if you have a question that you want my opinion on, just leave a comment in the video below. And if you're listening via podcast, rate this on whatever podcast service you use and share this with your friends. You can follow me on Twitch at twitch.tv/ambitiouscasual. I like to play some Crash Bandicoot 4, which is what I'm playing right now at the time of this recording. I like to play some Call of Duty. I like to play some Spellbreak. I'm trying to keep up to date to the big story games, so you'll see me playing those on the channel. And don't forget, the Video Game Beat, guys, releases weekly, and you can find more content on YouTube. Just search up Ambitious Casual TV on the search bar. All social links will be in the show notes. Until next time, stay casual, y'all.